Hello there and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lamp Classic Remastered. This time we take a look at the 1998 Nissan Primera 2-litre TeV. This is the final Primera to take on the course and the final car with a BTCC inspired livery. And I suppose in a way we've left the most successful to last. You see, while this is based on the 1998 BTCC Primera, in 1999, the next year when this game came out, this car was wrapping up both championships in the British Touring Car Championship, with a car that turned out to be very slightly illegal, and no one noticed until a couple of months after the season had ended. But no, this car was the champion, which is weird to think, really, considering I don't think Nissan was ever anyone's favourite team in the BTCC. It did have one of the most iconic liveries. This is a great livery. I love the Vodafone Primera with the sort of racing helmet and the little streaks coming off it. Very iconic design. Strangely, one that never really got mimicked anywhere else, at least from what I know, so a little bit of a shame there, but no. Very cool livery. This one's actually quite accurate as well, because I think it's even got the same wheels from the touring car as well, which is very, very cool. Now, as mentioned, 5 Primeras. We have technically seen this car before. We've had the Primera GT, which is, for those of you who don't know, there are 2 versions of the Nissan Primera in the game. The GT is used for PAL regions, and this TeV is used for the Japanese region, and technically the North American region, even though it gets renamed to an Infiniti G20. It is the same car. They didn't even bother changing the Nissan logos on it. So this is the car, essentially, that is used for most of the rest of the world, and then there's the GT. Weirdly, the GT has less power than this. I don't know if that's a GT2 Plus change, or if generally in the PAL regions the Primera just makes less power. I'm not too sure. Either way, this is the most powerful of the Primeras. They've been fairly average when it comes to this course, which, considering it's a Primera, isn't too much of a surprise, so we'll see what this one can do on its final go around. Front engine, front wheel drive, 333 horsepower, 1,102 kilograms. Pretty average stats. To be fair, as far as front wheel drive cars go, it is a little bit on the more powerful end of it. And the good news with the Primeras are they have 6-speed gearboxes, which is a very good. Anyways, to find out how quick the Nissan Primera is, it is going to get 6 laps of the Motorsports Land track in order to the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Suzuki Escudo Pikes Peak version. That car set a time of 25.696. The Primera is not likely to beat that. In terms of where the Primera is going to go, the quickest Primera was the 1990 car. That set a time of a 30.800. It should be noted, though, that we had the wagon version of this car go around a little while ago. Same race mod, same everything. Very cool looking thing, actually. Same gearbox as well, crucially, over the Accord wagons. And that set a time of a 30.845. Now, realistically, I'm going to reckon the wagon is probably about 0.2 of a second slower than the sedan, just sort of plucking figures from my head. I'm not quite sure of the weight differential, but that would sort of make sense to me, so I'm sort of expecting a 30.6 from this. I think would be good. It's not massively lighting up the timing sheets. I don't think it's nearly as good as that Accord Type R we had out a couple of episodes ago. To the line, 30.541 on its first flyer. Yeah, I mean, that seems fairly reasonable to me. Pretty good lap, actually, from this car. It's a nice driving bit of kit, really, to be fair. The Primera, I think, out of all of the BTCC-inspired cars we've had go around, there are quicker ones, of course. But I think out of all of them, the Primera is probably the nicest of all of them to drive. You get that 6-speed gearbox, which is fabulous. You know, good amounts of grip. The power's fairly decent on these. Out of all of them, probably the best ones. You know, certain ones are quicker. The Vectra, the V6 Vectra, I think that is very slightly quicker than this. But that V6 Vectra also comes with its own issues. It doesn't handle quite as nicely as this does. It's just that pure V6 grunt that pushes it on. Likewise, stuff like the Laguna, that makes substantially more power than this, but it is more sort of front-end limited. And as much as it pains me to admit it, for the most part the Accords just aren't quite as slick as the Primera is in terms of engines and gearboxes and all the rest of it. So I do think out of all of them, the Primera is probably the easiest of all of them. Obviously not the one I'd pick, of course. I'm an Accord fanboy, so I am going to probably stress more to go on the side of the Accord. And yeah, some of the other ones as well. Vectra, again, a little bit quicker. 406 is a pretty good car as well in general, a little bit down on power to this. They're all fairly equal, which is quite good, to be fair, so it means you can have a decent enough battle between these vehicles. Apparently Sector 1 on lap 5. I might have massively outbraked myself. In fact, I'm almost certain that's what I did in that. But yeah, despite all the sectors not lining up, there's a sort of anomalies in there. I look for the consistency in the sectors, and I'd say that probably is about right for this car. 30.541. Could he have pushed it towards the Vectra? I'd like to believe. Obviously, if this toppled the Vectra, I would not be disappointed. But as far as sort of a front-wheel drive saloon car goes around here, that is pretty decent, actually. So, yeah, the Primera should be proud. A 30.541 will place this into 318th place. Goes in between the Lancia Stratos and the Toyota Corolla 11 BZR. It is quicker than a Subaru Alcione SVX, the Mazda Roadster 1.8 RS, quicker than an Alfa Romeo Spider, quicker than a Celica mechanical sports version, quicker than the E36 Jaguar XJR. It is 0.15 up on the Renault Laguna, about the same for the Peugeot 406 sedan, about 0.2 and a bit up on the 1990s Primera. So yeah, again, as far as I'm sort of saying on these BTCC cars, pretty good. Misses out on the Vectra by, you know, 500th of a second, which isn't a lot. Of course, not really a match for likes of the Audi A4 and the four-wheel drive vehicles of such, but it isn't going to be. That's how this series goes. But no, decent showing for this car. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'll be driving something completely different. Until then, farewell.